Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shooting the Shit with Jim. This is episode 9, and my very special guest, as you can see, is Roy from BluRoy Movies, all the way from the UK. How are you today, Roy?
Hello, Jim. I'm good, thanks. And let me say off the bat, thanks for having me on, mate. I feel like it's a honour to come and represent this side of the pond on your channel. I've been looking forward to it for a while now.
Absolutely. No, the honor's all mine. Thank you so much for being here. We were talking a little bit before the show. We've been following each other's channels for quite a while now. Messing with each other in the chat. But I just knew that we would get on just well. And like I said, I'm just ecstatic that you're here today. So thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome, and looking forward to shooting shit face to face.
Absolutely, absolutely. Once tariffs come down. Whoa. Anyway, before we get into the show, everybody, we always do a little bit of business at the beginning. So as you can see, Roy is my guest. He is at BluRoy Movies. That's the name of his show. You can reach him. The actual handle on YouTube is at Roy Barrett 5609, and I'll leave the links for that in the description like I always do. You can also reach him on Instagram, and I love your Instagram handle, by the way, at Footy and Flicks.
Footy and Flicks.
That's awesome. Okay, so before we get too far into the show, I want to acknowledge some people here in the chat real quickly. We've got Mr. Dan in Horrors here. Hello, Dan. Thank you so much for being here. I got Preston to doing chores in the yard, but I'm here. Hey, you're a multitasker, Dan. That's one of the things we respect about you.
You need to put your foot down, Dan.
Easy to you say all the way on the other side of the world.
Yeah, true.
We've got Greg, my buddy. Hey, Greg, how you doing, buddy?
Hello, Greg.
Thanks for being here. And my good friend Texas is also here. Thank you, Texas.
Hello, Texas.
And it looks like we've got 8 people watching live right now. So please feel free to leave comments and questions for me and Roy here. And I will try to get to as many of them as possible. We also have Popcorn and Horror is here. Evening, gents. Hope you have a great stream. I will be catching up tomorrow. Just wanted to stop by and say hi. Have fun, Roy. Thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's start the show proper like we always do. Roy, how did you get your start on YouTube, my friend?
Well, collected for years. Started off through the usual routes as everybody else, I suppose. VHS. Never been into Laserdisc. Never had a Laserdisc. VHS to DVD to Blu-ray and to 4K now, and never had a channel. Used to watch a lot of guys' channels. Started off with, oh God, he's blanking on his name. The big fat guy in America. Come on, who everybody watches.
Ooh, Roger Ebert?
No, YouTuber.
Oh, YouTuber. No idea, because to be honest, I didn't really get into YouTube until recently.
He's still got a channel now, but I haven't watched him for years. Big fat guy, always lived with his mum.
Harry Knowles?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's going to annoy me now. But anyway, and a lot of other guys.
Some big fat guy on YouTube. All right.
Big fat American guy on YouTube. Go figure.
It describes half the damn country, Roy.
Well, somebody will know it. Somebody will put it down and say, yeah, you mean this guy. So anyway, yeah, I've been collecting for years and watching different channels, but not had a channel myself. And a couple of years ago, I was taken very poorly to the fact where it's been a life-changing experience, and I haven't been able to work full-time again because it's too much for me. So I work a little bit part-time now, and I've had a lot of time on my hands. Now, a couple of my friends, James, Movie Mad, and Larry, who you might have seen on my channel, he's always been kind. Sending me stuff and that.
Yeah, great.
They basically was egging me on to start my own channel, and come on, you got some time on your hand, it will give you something to do. So that's just what I did. So I started it, be 2 years this summer coming up, and not look back. I've enjoyed myself doing it. I don't take myself too seriously. Anybody wants to call me out in the comments, I don't bother me, but I haven't had much of that, to be honest.
No.
And yeah, and really enjoyed it. And it seems to have gone from strength to strength. I don't profess to have the best knowledge of movies in the world. I watch movies, I enjoy movies. Often I watch them and they've gone out of my head 10 minutes later. But people seem to like what I do, which never fails to amaze me. Sometimes, like when I upload, then you look half hour later and 20 people have watched it. And I just don't believe it sometimes.
Right.
But yeah, that's where I'm from. That's what I'm all about, and just enjoy myself.
No, I love your channel. I mean, I'm always leaving comments on your stuff.
Oh yeah,
your videos are entertaining as hell. And I gotta ask, that song at the beginning, the guitar intro at the beginning, is that an original, or
that's an original.
somebody did that for you, or you did that,
My
or
son.
your son?
My son
I
did it. Yeah,
love that riff, by the way. I do.
That's
I
good,
love
isn't it?
that riff. I wasn't sure if you sampled that or if that was an original or what, but no, that's
No,
great.
That's all. I've been toying with the idea of getting him to do me a different one because I've had it for the whole length so far. But I've had a few people now saying how much they like it, so I'll probably just keep with it, to be honest.
No, good for him. That's awesome. I had no idea, but no,
Yeah,
I love that riff. I really do. So
I said to him one day, I went into he's 24. He's still living at home until about 2 weeks' time. He's found a place and he's moving in with his girlfriend,
oh,
and his room's next door. And I went through and says to him, "Look, Nathan, I says I want an intro. Any chance of doing as a song?" And he just picked up his guitar and dun 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 dun, dun and that was it. Done.
wow,
It's literally off the top of his head like that.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
No,
And
that's great.
he also did all the filming for me and put it all together because he's an IT guru.
Mm-hmm.
Guy who will earn far more money than I'll ever earn in my life. But fair play to him. That's what it's all about, isn't it? That's what we want for our kids.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, that's fantastic. I had no idea that was your son. I thought it was a sample, to be honest. So
No, just sheer amateur guitaring.
very good. Okay, real quickly here, I just want to get back in the comments to acknowledge some people that are now in. Corey from Wilkie's Movies Music is here. Hello, Corey. Thank you so much
Corey.
for being here, my friend. And we've already got a question from the audience here. What would your guys' favorite 80s movie be? That could be a lot of things.
But I know why Ash has asked this question in particular.
Yeah.
I made a throwaway comment once on one of my videos that I don't dislike any era of films, but I happened to say that if I was to rank my favourite decades of cinemas, 80s would be down near the bottom.
Yep,
and
I remember that.
I got a lot of flack for that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier in the before we went on, when I said that you've said some things in the past that could be considered kind of hot takes. That was what I was getting.
That was a hot take.
But hey, there's got to be at least one movie from the 80s you like.
Oh yeah, there's a lot, obviously. I think it's got to be Raiders, something like that.
Yeah, that's a solid answer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's probably, when it's all said and done, my favorite of the 80s. I would have to go with either The Thing or RoboCop.
Yeah.
I love them both. I love them both. But thank you so much for making my guest squirm so early in the show there, Popcorn. I appreciate that. Let's see here. And Texas says Gregory's Girl. That's a good movie.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Very good movie, and a lot of people don't talk about that one. See, that's why I love Texas. He always goes with the obscure stuff, and he's great.
I'd never have guessed that an American man had picked Gregory's Girl as their favorite American movie either.
Yeah, especially with a guy with the name Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
Texas is awesome. He's good people. Okay, so do you have, and what is your first memory of seeing a film at a cinema? Whether it's a Disney movie or anything.
My first memory. Now I don't even know if you guys would know this film. There's a film back in the 70s when I was a wee one called Digby, the World's Largest Dog.
Yep.
That means something to you.
Yep.
my mum and my dad, and I'm the second youngest of four, so I don't even think my younger brother would have been born by then. So I'd have gone along with me, my older brother, and elder sister to watch Digby, the biggest dog in the world. And we lasted about 10 minutes because I kept shouting, "Look at that big telly, Dad! Look at the big TV!" and that was it. We were thrown out the place.
Raising hell even back then, Roy.
Raising hell at the age of 5 or whatever it was.
Nice. Anarchy. What about video? Do you have a memory of going to the video shop for the first time and renting something?
I do, yeah. My sister was the first person that had a video recorder that I can remember. And so she is, let's work this out, for about 6 years older than me. So when she first got married, she moved in with her husband. And from where she moved into, there was a video, in fact, there's 2 video stores more or less right next to each other. So I went with my mother to go and visit her one afternoon, and as we were going by this video store, I pestered my mother to go in there and let me have a look round because I'd never been in one of these places. And I don't know how we ended up with it, but we ended up with the Firestarter.
Wow. Drew Barrymore.
So what year was that? That was 9. What year film was that?
84.
84. 84.
Yes.
84. Yeah.
No,
so
83. No, actually, that might have been 83. Yeah, that's 83.
So I'd have been about 14, 15. So we ended up with Firestarter, and I remember taking that to her house and then watching Firestarter. But then I remember my dad then getting his own player at home, and he paid like £700 for this player, which in that was a ridiculous amount of money. I remember it had a remote control on a big cord that was attached to the player.
Was it a top loader?
No, it wasn't. It was a front loader, I think.
Oh, okay, because we had a top loader first.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it's a front loader. And we were straight on VHS. We never went Betamax or anything like that.
Was that you? Yeah, that was you. Okay.
That was me. I'm right next to the thing.
Yeah, I just turned mine off just in case. It's a Firestarter. Wow. No wonder you don't like 80s horror movies.
Yeah, it's not the best, is it?
Back off. Okay. What are some of your favorite genres?
Love my westerns. Love war films, but I'm a sucker for an old black and white film, a good film noir. I don't mind like an old black and white romance. I don't know if some of these guys watching this might not believe me, but yeah, I'd say that. So westerns, action, sci-fi, generally guy stuff, I think.
What about least favorite?
Animation, musicals. I'm not really into fantasy. I can't do with like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and crap like that. No, I'm not into that, Jim. I know you love them.
So, in other words, if it's an animated fantasy musical, you're fucked.
It's not for that. There is an animated Lord of the Rings version, isn't there? I know Sam loves it. But...
Yeah, there's actually, there was a theatrical one way back in the day, which tried to cram all 3 books into an hour-and-a-half cartoon. It doesn't work, but it looks great. Ralph.
Not Gordon Sam, he loves it.
Yeah, Ralph Bashki did that one. And then there was the Hobbit TV movie, when I was a kid.
Didn't know it existed.
And they did another animated Lord of the Rings spin-off recently, but it crashed and burned. I never saw it. So.
Oh yeah, I remember that coming out.
Yeah, and again, it did nothing here in the States. I don't know about over in Europe, but it crashed and burned quite quickly.
I remember of it, but
yeah,
to be honest, I don't watch new films though.
See, that's where I was going to go next, okay? Because that has been a reoccurring theme on this show, okay? just about every guest I've had, just about every one of them. Okay, not all of them, but just about. And it's not an age thing, okay? Because I've had some guys on here that are younger than me. I've had one guest on here that is older than me. Every one of them says that they gravitate towards older movies as opposed to newer movies. So is that the boat that you're in as well?
Yeah, I haven't watched a 2025 film.
I'm trying to think if I have. Because I know I haven't. Well, yeah, I have, but they were on the internet illegally. So I shouldn't say that.
I mean, I don't worry about it. I've got Fire Stick Plus.
No, I generally hate watching anything that's bootleg. I'm a big believer in physical media or streaming or whatever. But the Captain America movie that's out right now, well, it was out recently. I've got superhero burnout. I really do.
Yeah, me too. Not interested.
And I was like, you know what? I heard mixed things about it, and I didn't want to buy it unless I saw it. And we don't have Disney Plus anymore, so I figured, screw it, I'll watch it on. Look, and I did, and it wasn't a horrible movie, but I don't think I'll buy it. You know, so I'm glad I went that route. You know,
I nearly watched a 2025 film last week when I met up with the guys in Birmingham.
Yeah, they went and saw Sinners, and you didn't.
They went and with my condition now, I really struggle with my energy levels, and we've been walking around all day, and the only cinema they could get in was a mile's walk away, sort of a half-hour walk, and I just didn't have it in my locker. So I just said to the guys, I said, "Look, like, you guys go, and I'll stay in the hotel." And at the moment, we've got the World Snooker Championships on, so I don't know whether it's like pool for skillful people.
Yeah.
So I just stayed and watched that in the hotel at night, and then when I got back, I had a beer with them. So, yeah.
Stuart said that he wasn't overly impressed with it, anyways. I don't know about the other guys, but he said it was okay, but it wasn't. He said it wasn't all that great. And I really want to see it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I know Sammy enjoyed it, and Ollie enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, probably not enough dancing people or whatever, and in there for Stuart.
Not enough songs.
Oh, sorry about the Instagram post where I had to put Grease on. I know how much you love that movie. That would be like somebody putting a Dirty Dancing on, my shit. I mean, yeah.
Did you see that? Did you see my last video? Stuart even bought me a Grease CD.
Yeah. Oh, I lost it. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
I dread to think what else he's going to send me.
Okay, say hello to a couple more people here. We've got Sarah. Hello, Sarah. How are you today? I hope you're doing well.
Hi, Sarah. I see Sarah's a constant on your channel.
She leaves lots of comments.
Lots of comments.
She's very she watches everything I do.
Yeah.
So I totally appreciate all your support, Sarah.
That's great.
And my good friend Sean from Cinephile World Order is here. Hello, Sean. Thank you so much. I'm going to have you on here real soon, buddy. I'm going to be talking to you soon.
Hey.
We've got Greg and people saying hello back and forth to each other. Okay. So here we go. We already talked about the favorite genres and your least favorite, and how you tend to gravitate towards older titles. And that's another thing that I love about your show, or your channel rather, because you always do, every week you'll do your weekly watches.
Yeah,
and
I enjoy that.
There's usually at least half of them that not only have I never seen, I'd never heard of, because you will be talking about some British movie from 1950, or some European movie from 1960, or even an American Western from the 40s and I'm like, holy shit, I mean, yeah, I'll give you credit, sir. You come up with a lot of stuff. I consider myself a cinephile. I'm not an expert, okay? But I think I have a pretty good grasp on movies, okay? And I am constantly amazed watching your weekly watch videos, man, because you have so many things that I have never heard of or seen. So bearing that in mind, okay, because we've already
I still like the look on your face here.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be fun. We're going to do a game that I did with Dan way back when, Mr. Dan, I meant, called Best Decade. Okay?
Right.
It could be any decade. You can go all the way back to the 20s as far as I'm concerned, because with you probably have seen movies from the 20s. Okay,
I have, yeah.
I'm going to give you a genre. You're going to tell me the best decade and why. Okay.
Go on, go for it.
First, comedies. Best decade.
I'm going to say maybe 1930s with the advent of the screwball comedies. For me, that's set in motion. It happened one night, stuff like that.
Like Marx Brothers and
Marx
those lines?
Brothers, Chaplin.
Okay. Very good.
I think it's all groundbreaking stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay. How about action?
Bringing up Baby.
How about action?
Action. I want to. Now I'm going to go back. I'm going to fly in the face of everything I say. It's going to be 1980s with the Die Hards and the. This is what I say when I talk some shit. So, yeah, it's got to be.
80s suck except for action.
Except for action. It's got to be, isn't it? You can't look any further than it.
Yeah. Okay. Like I said, there are no right or wrong answers.
Did you hear that? Some dickhead just went by on a motorbike.
Yeah, I heard something. I didn't know what that was. That's okay. I'm waiting for the gardener people to come flying by with their lawnmowers. It's like it's
You've got
Saturday.
a gardener?
I don't. I live in a. I live in like a housing community where they do the yards and stuff. No shit. I don't have no fucking gardener. I would be the gardener if I lived anywhere else. Let's put it that way. Okay. So, action. You said 80s. Okay. This one's tough though. Sci-fi. Because there's some great sci-fi in every decade.
The 70s. Star Wars. Logan's Run.
Okay. I would go that way too. Now, this is going to be the controversial one for everybody in the audience but you. Or, because we know it ain't 80s.
I'm going to say, again, 70s. The Exorcist, Omen, all the Hammer stuff over here. Yeah, 70s again.
Okay, very good. See, that wasn't too painful.
That weren't too painful.
Okay. Now, you've recently done a video, and again, not to make it sound like, I'm jerking you off for 2 hours, but I was very impressed with the fact that you did the top movie of every genre. I do not have the balls to do that. Okay. But we're bearing that in mind. We're going to play a game that I call Top 3, where off the top of your head, doesn't have to be, it could change tomorrow. Okay. But I'll give you a genre. You give me the top 3 movies from that genre. Okay.
Righto, I'm up for that.
Top 3 comedies.
Top 3 comedies. Now, I'm not the greatest comedy person. Trading Places.
Great movie.
Clerks.
You're the first Brit that I have talked to that's actually seen Clerks.
Really?
Yes.
I love Clerks.
Good for you, man.
It's so cheap and so brilliant.
For you has gone up a whole nother level, my friend. That's awesome.
And Sideways.
Yeah, I know you like Sideways.
Sideways.
Yeah, you love Sideways. No, most people that I've talked to over there in Britain or whatever, they're not really familiar with Kevin Smith. They know of him, but they haven't seen the movies. And
I love Kevin Smith.
And it's like, if nothing else, watch Clerks and Clerks 2. Those movies are both fantastic.
Lucky guy to still be breathing, isn't he?
What's that?
He's a lucky guy to still be breathing.
Oh, yeah. He had like a massive, massive heart attack. Now you look at him and he's like half the size that he used to be. He's skinny now,
The Widowmaker, they called his heart attack, didn't they?
Yeah, the Widowmaker. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen these An Evening with Conversations?
Oh yeah, they're hilarious.
They're so
I
good,
used
aren't
to
they?
own like 3 or 4 of them on
Yeah,
DVD, and unfortunately, I didn't survive the Great Purge from about 10 years ago.
yeah,
But
I've got a couple of them.
he did a one where he was telling the story about being called in to do a script for Superman, and it was by John Peters, the guy who produced Batman. And it is one of the funniest damn stories I have ever heard in my life, especially when he says John Peters' only note on the project was that somewhere in the movie, Superman had to fight a giant spider. Okay. And he was like, why the hell? And he's like, well, don't you know about giant spiders? They're the most deadly animals in the animal kingdom. I want him fighting this spider. Okay. Well, he ended up passing on this part. He never did. That movie never got made. But John Peters made a movie again about 2 years after that called Wild Wild West.
Oh
You know,
yes,
you know what's in Wild Wild West? A
Giant
giant
spider.
fucking spider.
I watched I watched a movie for the first time last night, and I don't think it was supposed to make me laugh,
What's that?
but it was hilarious, and it was this one.
I love Orca.
It's so funny.
Oh, it's funny. Although the scene on the boat where the baby comes,
Yeah.
that was brutal, man.
I laughed at it. I don't,
You laughed?
I don't know when it fell out. It just suddenly fell out, didn't it?
I'll tell you what, as a 10-year-old at the drive-in, that traumatized me, man.
And when the husband whale saw the mummy whale get killed, his
Yeah.
reaction, it was like Anakin Skywalker when he found out that his missus was dead.
No.
I was howling with laughter.
I love Orca, but again, I'll give you this. I don't take that movie seriously at all. Okay,
No.
I love that movie mainly for nostalgic reasons. Okay, because again, I saw it at the drive-in when I was a kid, and I love it. But as far as like Jaws ripoffs go, because that's really all that movie is. It's a Jaws ripoff. It's one of the better ones. That one and Grizzly, which I don't know if you ever saw Grizzly.
I've not seen Grizzly, no.
Grizzly is literally Jaws in a forest.
Yeah.
It's beat for beat. I mean, it's like you could put the two movies next to each other playing at the same time, and it's beat for beat, man. I mean, but so much fun. So much fun.
I'll have to grab a copy of that.
Yeah, I got that one on Severin. Put that out over here. So, but again, horrible movie, laughably bad, but so much fun. I mean, I love those drive-in movies. I just
Like Walker.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one thing, that I'm very grateful for the time that I grew up in the place where I grew up going to drive-ins. Because I remember you were following my drive-in videos and saying that
they were good.
That you had never had the opportunity. And I'm telling you, there's just something about sitting outside watching a movie on a giant screen with a bunch of people. It's just it's really cool,
Half the car's rocking.
Yeah. That too. And let's see here on that note. Hey, Barry's there. How you doing, Barry?
Hello, Barry.
Barry's offering to send me some Seagal movies. I said, no, thank you. And Barry is seeing Clerks, Chasing Amy. Not a fan of them, though. Chasing Amy, I remember when that movie came out at the time, it was considered very progressive. And now it's like, people are trying to cancel that movie and shit. And it's like, I hate that. I really hate that. Let's see here. Okay, now I will mention this comment from Sarah. She says, I have Clerks 3, still haven't watched it. Sarah, Clerks 3 is horrible. Okay? This is coming from a guy who absolutely adores Clerks and Clerks 2. And I really wanted to adore Clerks 3. And it is one of the most depressing movies I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I own it. I'll probably never watch it again. I mean, but if you do end up watching it, Sarah, I hope you enjoy it.
Mallrats, love Mallrats.
Mallrats is fun.
Yeah.
Dogma is the one that I love. I mean,
it's so rare. It's so difficult to get over here, Dogma.
They're finally Harvey Weinstein owned the rights for that. Okay. And they finally got the rights away from him. So they're not only re-releasing it in cinemas this summer in limited release, okay, but they're putting it out on 4K and Blu-ray.
Oh, good.
Proper. So it will be getting released here in the States, and if it's on 4K, I'm assuming it will be released over there as well.
Even on DVD, it's really difficult to get here now.
Oh yeah, I've got the out of print DVD, and it goes for like $30 used, on the secondary market. Okay, let's see. I'm just making sure that I didn't miss anybody here in the comments. Okay, let's get back to my top 3 because we kind of glossed over that because we got comedies.
Yeah, I was trying to distract you.
Yeah, you got me with the Clerks, and I was like, yeah. Okay. Top 3 dramas.
Top 3 dramas. Oh God, drama's so difficult.
And by drama, I mean exactly that. Drama, not suspense, not thriller, just plain old drama.
Ooh,
because I know you've got a lot on your shelf.
I have. Shawshank, I know it's boring.
No, that's a great movie. It's a masterpiece.
One I really enjoyed from a little while ago, Walkabout.
Oh, Jenny Agutter?
Yeah.
Jenny Agutter.
Jenny Agutter, that was really, really good.
Logan's Run had quite an effect on me as a 9-year-old.
These are terrible answers off the top of your head. If I was to sit down and think with a pen and paper, I probably wouldn't get anywhere near. One more. This is harder than you think, isn't it?
Not for me.
Not for you, no.
It's easy to ask instead of answer.
So we'll go Shawshank. Are you letting me have Goodfellas?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we'll go that then.
Yeah, because I wouldn't call Goodfellas an action movie.
No.
It's a drama. So,
yeah.
Okay. Top 3 suspense films.
Rear Window.
Great one.
You should probably have top 3. Just bung 3 Hitchcocks in there, couldn't you?
Or De Palma's.
Or De Palma's, yeah. Rear Window. All right, yeah, let's go Blowout. I watched that recently.
Love that movie so much.
Very, very good.
God, I love that movie.
North by Northwest.
Great one.
Yeah.
North by Northwest is damn near a comedy, though. That movie's funny. There is a lot of humor in that movie. I mean, a lot. Top 3 action movies. Terminator. Okay.
Has to be. Face Off.
Okay.
The Face Off. And Die Hard.
Top 3 sci-fi films.
Alien. Although it's a difficult sci-fi horror, isn't it?
Yeah, you can go either way on that one.
That you could go either way. That. Now I'm going to say, though, so I did watch animation. I'm going to chuck in Fantastic Planet.
I knew that was coming. I remember when you saw that, you were going on and on about that. Yeah.
What a film.
It's a great movie. It really is.
Silent Running?
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, I haven't seen that one in years, but that's a good movie. That was one of my brother's favorites, Greg.
Was it?
He loved that movie. All right, top 3 horror.
The Exorcist all day long will be always my favourite. The Omen.
Domonos, Christos.
Don't do it, Jim. You'd wait for me to say it, wouldn't you?
That became a running joke during Shocktober. I loved it.
It did, didn't it? And then, oh no, Carrie. I can't leave Carrie out.
Carrie's a great one.
Yeah.
Okay, now this one I kind of mean in tongue in cheek, but top 3 musicals.
Top 3. Okay, now.
You don't need to answer that. I just said that to fuck with you.
I'll give you one.
Yeah.
Tommy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Or is that more of an opera though?
It's a rock opera, so it's a musical.
Yeah. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, you can say Tommy, you can go Quadrophenia. South Park movie. That would be one of my answers. Okay, but this one's going to be difficult, I think. Top 3 Westerns.
The Oxbow Incident.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that, and I haven't seen that. I got to check that one out.
Such a good film. Boringly Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
That ain't boring. That's a movie. That movie's a masterpiece.
I know, but everybody says it though, don't they?
Yeah, rightfully so. Though. It's my number 1.
Gunfight at the OK Corral.
Yeah.
For me,
Kirk Douglas.
that's the seminal telling of that story for me.
I'm a Tombstone guy, but yeah, I see what you're getting at, though. I mean, it is a great movie. It really is. I like Tombstone just because of that cast. I mean, Jesus Christ, that cast is like so deep. Oh wow! Now all at once, since I brought up a couple of westerns, now the comments are going crazy. Okay. Let's see here. We've got Jody is here. Jody's Movie Realm. Hello, Jody.
Hello, Jody.
Hello, Jim and Roy. I'm busy this afternoon, but looking forward to catching up on the stream tomorrow. Happy streaming. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Jody.
And Dan agrees with you that the Oxbow incident is great.
Oh, it's awesome.
And last week's guest, Mike from Mike's DVD and Blu-ray collection is here. Hello, Mike. Thank you so much for being here. As well as previous guest, Daniel from Frank's Collecting Castle is also here in the house. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello, Frank.
Wow, I got all my previous guests here and Dan from the Talking Movies and Western for Life podcast. Hello, Dan. Thank you. Hi, Jim and Roy. Now Roy's top I know is the Terminator, but for a moment the print was creased, and I thought it was Keir Starmer. He fell out of my lazy boy.
We had local elections yesterday.
Yeah,
in this country.
I've been reading.
And Keir Starmer has been pretty much terminated. Yeah, it didn't go well for him.
Yeah, let's see here. Making sure I got everybody here. Sean's back. Okay, Daniel says, just watched House on the Edge of the Park. I really liked it. What did you guys think of it? I saw that years ago, Daniel. I don't remember it, to be honest.
I haven't seen it at all.
Yeah, it's like a giallo, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen it, but I don't really recall it. But thank you so much for being here, Daniel, and for your question. And Sean says, subscribe to Jody's Movie Realm. That's a new one for me. Cool. And everybody, while you're here, subscribe to Sean as well at Cinephile World Order. Sean had a channel. His channel, had over 1,000 subs. And for some reason, YouTube just decided to cancel him. And he had to start from scratch. And now he's at like 200. And it's taken him forever to get to that. It's just ridiculous. The YouTube Nazis. So that's what I call them.
Have you seen Jody's channel, Jim?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I'm subbed to Jody.
Yeah, really, really good.
Sean says, love House on the Edge of the Park. Texas says, House on the Edge of the Park is excellent. Almost feels like a sequel to Last House on the Left. Okay, now Last House on the Left I've seen.
I've seen that in both versions.
Yeah, me too. I own the original, but I prefer the remake, believe it or not.
It's so gruesome, isn't it, the remake?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Dan wants to know, Question for me: who is the best on-screen movie duo?
Ooh, that's a
Past
good
or
question.
present? I'm assuming. Wow,
That is a good question. Let me have
that's
a
a real
think.
good question. Wow, that's a real. Okay, their movies aren't my favorite of all time, but I think that they had a chemistry unparalleled. I'll go with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder.
Yeah, that's a good answer. That's a good answer.
Yeah, I watched Remembering Gene Wilder last night, and that might be why it's in my head.
Huh.
If you've never seen that, that's a really good movie.
Uh, uh, oh, maybe just say something like the Bad Boys gang. I think that Martin Lawrence and Will Smith just carry them films through. Because I think it's because I've been watching them recently, so I still got them stuck in my head.
Yeah, I know you've
Yeah,
been watching those quite a
yeah, yeah.
bit.
So maybe I'll say something like that. Maybe, might be a bit of a stretch to say the best ever, but I think they're just in my head at the moment because I've been watching them.
Hey, it's
Yeah.
valid. Again, on this show, all answers are subject to change. Ollie's here. Hello, Ollie. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, both just popping by to get ready to watch Munich for the first time. Hope you
Hello,
have a
Ollie.
great stream. Munich is a very good movie, Ollie. It's a tough watch.
He's not going to like it though.
Huh?
He's not going to like it
No?
because if you've seen his series where you pick what to watch off his shelf,
Mm-hmm.
every time I pick one, and Munich was one that I picked off his shelf, he's not liked it.
But to be fair, he does the same thing to you.
Yes.
So-
So on his video this week, I picked Gone with the Wind, so he can not like it for 10 hours.
Biscotti. Scarlett was a bitch. I was hoping somebody was just going to slap her in the first 10 minutes and the movie's over. You know, yeah. Don't get me going.
It's a great movie, though. I like it.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those movies I got more respect than love for. Let's put it that way. You know.
Yeah.
No problem, Sean. Thank you for all your support. Okay, Dan says Jack Lemmon and Walter Brown. That was actually my first instinct, was those two. But then, like I said,
why did I say that?
But then I saw that Gene Wilder documentary last night, and it just kind of stuck in my head. But yeah, Lemmon and Matthau, without a doubt.
Dan's proper showing me up now with Bad Boys, isn't he? Lemmon and Matthau.
And Daniel says Wilder and Pryor. Sean just subscribed to your channel. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Drop me a note or something. I'll sub you back.
And Mr. Dan and Horse says Grant and Hepburn in Bringing Up Baby.
Yeah.
Mike says subscribe to Roy and Jim if you haven't already. Great. Oh, thanks a lot, Mike. That's awesome of you. I love Bringing Up Baby. It's time for me to watch it again soon.
Yeah, it's a great film.
I know I was subscribed to Frank's Movie Castle with my old channel, but fix that. Awesome. Thanks, Sean. I have faith in your choice of Munich because it's Spielberg, and I know you love Gone with the Winds if it is chosen this week. No, Munich is. It's a very good movie, but it's a rough watch, man. Barry says Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson. Yeah, those two were awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, White Men Can't Jump. I love that movie so much. And Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. Yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. Now we're going to play a game.
It's so easy. The other side of the camera, isn't it? Yeah. Christopher Lee and Pete. Didn't I think of that?
Now we're going to play a little game called Overrated, Underrated.
Righto.
Okay. So I want you to think of a movie that by and large everybody thinks is just awesome. And you don't necessarily hate it, but you just think it's overrated as hell.
Got to be Grease, isn't it?
I had a feeling it was going to be Grease.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
And why is I should have said it as well. Why do you feel that way? Other than I don't like musicals.
I hated it. I don't know what it's like over there, but it hasn't happened for a while. But over here, every now and again there'll be a Grease revival, and for a few months every summer, in that summer, that's all you hear. You go. Obviously, I don't know. I'm too old. But when you went out to a bar, every bar you went in and playing bloody Grease Lightning and Go Go Battle. Oh God, and it used to really do my head in. It used to really annoy me to the point where I just want to go home.
Fair enough. So, in other words, when you saw that Deadpool Wolverine movie last year, they started fighting in the car, and that song came out from Grease, you were in hell for 2 minutes. Everybody else in the world's laughing their ass off, and you're like, no. Fair enough. That's similar to the reason why I hate Dirty Dancing so much. You know, besides the movie being a piece of shit, I just can't get away from that fucking soundtrack. It just it haunts me. It follows me around, you know. Okay, now let's flip that. Underrated. A movie that most people just say that movie's not very good at all, and you're like, no, you're wrong. This movie's great.
Can I say a film that I don't think anybody talks about, and that's why I think it's underrated?
Absolutely.
It says, it is this film here, The Incident, and it's all on a New York subway, and it's
I'm writing that down.
It's a very out of print here. Directed by Larry Pierce. And these two reprobates, it's Charlie Sheen, I think one of the Sheens, Charlie Sheen. And I can't remember who plays the other guy. Not a very well-known actor. They basically take over this New York subway car and absolutely terrify their fellow passengers. And it just makes you feel that uncomfortable for their fellow passengers in there and what they're having to go through with these guys just basically bullying them and tormenting them. And an hour and a half just zips by like it's just a brilliant film.
I never even heard of that. What year is that from?
It's, I should imagine 1960 something. 60. I need Stewart's Sherlock Holmes. 67.
Okay, so it's got to be Martin Sheen then.
It'll be Martin Sheen, yeah.
Okay, because when you're saying Charlie Sheen, I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
it's too early for him,
from the 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, The Incident. All right, I'm going to look into that because I've never even heard of that movie.
I know it's highly out of print now over here.
Oh, but I know somebody has heard of it, and this doesn't surprise me. Mr. Dan.
Mr. Dan.
The Incident is really good. Yeah, I figured Dan would have seen this, or him or Mike, because they're both like you. They love older movies. All right, very good, sir. All right, let's play another game. Favorite actors, actresses. Give me three of your favorite actors. Not necessarily the best, but your favorite. Where if you see that they're in a movie, you'll stop and watch. And the same thing with actresses. So 3 of each.
Jimmy Stewart, Henry Fonda, Clint. Actresses, Marlene Dietrich. I really like Marilyn Monroe. I know she's not a very good actress.
Easy on the eyes.
Easy on the eye, yeah. I'll watch anything with her in. And Nicole Kidman.
Very good. Okay. Flip that. Least favorite. 3 actors and 3 actresses that make your skin crawl. That if they're in a movie, you won't necessarily turn it off, but you're like, God, I don't like this person at all.
This is tough because
there's exceptions to everything. I mean,
yeah.
To give you an example, I'm not a huge Adam Sandler fan, but there are Adam Sandler movies that I like.
Yeah, I obviously you've seen my channel, so you know I don't like Adam Sandler. I do play it up a bit though. There are films of his I like.
Yeah.
Sandler. I don't think there's not many any. Oh, I'm not a big Kevin Costner fan. I do find him very dull.
Okay.
I'm struggling for another one. It's not many I genuinely don't like, to be honest.
Okay. Any actresses that you don't like?
Anna Kendrick.
Okay.
I don't know what it's about. And if Ash is watching, he'll be going mad because Anna Kendrick is his crush.
Well, if my buddy Kenny's here, make sure you don't say Sandra Bullock because he'll fly across the pond and fight.
But again, like, there's nobody like I genuinely hate that. Well, it's too short, isn't it, to go around just hating.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Let me just double check here in the comments here. And by the way, people in the comments, feel free, ask questions, anything. You got anything you want me and Roy to answer, whether it's goofy or not, please get into it. Just no politics, no religion. Okay, let's see here. Dan says Martin Sheen and Tony Musante, I think.
That's it. Yeah, yeah.
Bo Bridges wants to fight back, but he's got his arm in a cast.
Yeah.
And no Big Jason.
No Big J. So yeah, I do like. I do. But yeah, I don't think you could call him one of your favourite. I enjoy his films and what he does, and they're crap. I don't know, crap action films, but it just got something about him. I enjoy watching him.
Hey, my good friend Yam Yam's here. How you doing, buddy? So good. You're so glad you're here.
Hello, Yam.
Guys, hope you're well. It's crazy how much Emilio Estevez looks like his old man Martin Sheen. Yeah. I saw a thing last week, I think it was. They did a 40th anniversary of the Breakfast Club where they got the 5 actors back together, and Emilio Estevez never does these things. And it was literally the first time I'd seen him in like 20 years. Jesus Christ, does he look like his old man? I mean, I showed a picture of it to my mom. She thought it was Martin Sheen. She's like, wow, Martin Sheen looks pretty good for being in his 90s or 80s. And I'm like, that's Emilio Estevez. Let's see here. Yam says, 2 worst actors ever are Nicolas Cage and Kevin Costner.
Yeah. I love the Cage.
Yeah, I like the Cage when he's not going completely off the rails. But even then, you ever see Mandy?
I didn't like it.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, okay? No. Because that's one of those movies, it's very divisive, okay? Yeah. But I thought he was phenomenal in it, considering he doesn't really talk that much. It's all, but that scene where he's in the bathroom drinking that booze and just melts down, it was like, holy shit, man.
It came out to such a fanfare, didn't it? Everybody was heralding it as this great film, and I thought, what the hell is this crap?
It's a fever dream. I mean, it really is. Yeah, I like it, but it's again, that's a movie that I have never recommended to anyone. I just basically, I just tell them flat out, this is one of the craziest, weirdest movies I've ever seen in my life. If that sounds appealing to you, have at it.
Get on it.
I mean, Sean says, The Incident sounds interesting. Haven't seen that one. Yeah, I haven't either. Daniel says, watching a classic on TV now, American Ninja 2. Hell yeah. You a fan of Cannon films, Roy?
I don't mind some of them. Some of the Chuck Norris ones, they're just daft action, aren't they?
Yeah. Shit crazy, right. But they're fun. Some of them are better than others. Let's put it that way. Runaway Train is a great movie. Quality and entertainment.
Brilliant. Yeah, I watched that again not too long ago. Yeah,
that's the best Cannon movie.
Yeah.
In my opinion, not my favorite, but the best. Yeah. Life Force is a batshit crazy fun movie. But
I only watched that recently for the first time because Stuart sent me a copy.
Yeah. Stuart loves that movie. I wonder why.
The girl at the start, she wasn't shy, was she?
No, she was not. That was one of those drive-in movies that people were losing their fucking minds, man. I mean, the first half hour of that movie, nothing but a sea of horns and lights, and I mean, just people going nuts every time that woman showed up on screen. Yeah, that movie played like a rock concert at the drive-in. Yam says, I like Clint Eastwood. He's boss.
He's lost.
Yep. I don't think his son Scott is that good at acting, but I'd love to see a biopic of Clint Eastwood played by Scott Eastwood. Yeah, he looks just like him.
Just like his dad, doesn't he?
It's like Kurt Russell's kid, Wyatt Russell. He looks just like his dad, too.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But Wyatt Russell's actually turned into a pretty decent actor. I think I've only seen Scott Eastwood in small parts here and there. I don't really know if he's a good actor or not, to be honest. Let's see here. Yeah, his son, we figured that. No politics, no religion. LOL. Another reason why I love Jen. I love you too, Sean. Now, if I ever do like a drinking game or something on here, I might start talking, but we don't go that route. Okay, now there's been a lot of talk recently about the future of physical media, about whether there is one. Okay, streaming is very popular. Discs are getting a little more expensive. A lot of companies, even the boutique labels, are regurgitating the same titles over and over. It was a Blu-ray that went out of print, but hey, now it's out on 4K, that sort of thing. What do you think? Do you think physical media still got a decent future ahead?
Yes, I do. It's got a long way to go yet. When we were in Birmingham last week, you should have seen the queues for people buying stuff, Jim. It was 15, 20 deep to get to the till to buy stuff. And that's no exaggeration.
Wow.
Yeah, you see, Ollie's still watching. He'll back me up because Sam was there. He queued up for his, and we were all waiting for him outside. Where's he? We go, like, where's he gone? And he's only gone back for more. We're like, oh God, no! It's going to be another half an hour. We're all waiting outside the shop for him. But no, it's got a long way to go. There's a lot of unnecessary negativity going about. Clickbait videos. Is this the end? Is it still worth collecting? And it does my head in. I won't watch them. I won't watch anything to do with negativity. Full stop. Yeah. Really. If you put something like that, is this crap or is that? I won't watch a video, but I want to watch something upbeat. Yeah, there's a long way to go. Physical. You see all the collector's sets coming out. Not that I buy them. I don't need, as I always say, I don't need the free ashtray and stuff like that. I'll just wait for a standard release. But yeah, you see, you watch Alan's video, Kermit's Ghost. Every Monday, stuff coming out. There's 30, 40 releases every week. If media's dying, why are they going to release 40 different titles a week? No, I don't get it. I think people are just after reactions, to be honest.
Yeah, I wish that I had stores like that in my area, because unless you're in one of the big cities, okay, like, Chicago, I'm sure has quite a few places where you could buy. But I mean, out here in the suburbs, even Walmart doesn't really carry movies anymore. They'll carry what came out that week as far as like the top 10 titles or whatever. And then they'll have a kiosk that's got a bunch of TV series, the complete series of Hill Street Blues and the A-Team and the World's Greatest American Hero, but yet they don't have anything else, and that's where I used to buy my shit all the time, was Walmart or Best Buy. Best Buy stopped selling physical media a year ago. They don't even sell 4Ks anymore, I don't think, unless it's just what came out that week, sort of thing.
So you're forced online now, are you?
Yeah. I mean, 90% of the purchases that I make at this point are either online or at the Goodwill shops, used, because again, or I'll buy directly from the manufacturer. Like if Kino does a sale, I'll go right to them, because if you get $50, you get free shipping, that sort of shit, but the one advantage that I see from talking to you guys over in Europe is it does seem like physical media is much bigger there than it is here. Okay. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with just there are so many titles available in Europe. I know Germany is huge.
Oh, it is, yeah.
They put everything out, and there's just so many titles that we just don't have access to unless you have, an all region player, which I don't,
No, I don't.
or if you want to pay huge prices for shipping, I mean, you end up spending more for shipping than you do for the damn movie in some of these cases, so there's a part of me that is very envious of you over in Europe. I mean, I've seen those videos, from you guys. I mean, Matt will do a shopping trip every once in a while, or Carlos will do one every once in a while, and I just sit there and get very, very jealous. I mean, but at the same time, I would probably, my wife would divorce me because I would spend way, way, way too much money.
Well, where we were last week, in Birmingham, is a HMV branch called the Vault, and it's the biggest media store in Europe. And God, it was a big place.
Yeah,
it's like a size of a small warehouse.
Yeah, I know there's a place in New York or whatever that actually it's a Scream Factory store.
Yeah.
And it's literally just Scream Factory, but then you go downstairs on another level and then they've got all the other titles or whatever, but it's like, shit, I can't even get a Scream Factory title at a store where I live. I mean, they don't put them on the shelves. They just don't. So, yeah, it really upsets me. Okay, let's see here. Watch Hitchhike with Franco Nero and David Hess. Nero plays such a prick. I'm not familiar with that one.
No, I don't know
that. Scott Eastwood is in Gran Torino. He's the guy Clint calls a pussy. Clint calls everybody pussy or something in that movie. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I just remember everything that came out of his mouth in that movie was an insult of some kind.
Get off my lawn.
Yep. I love physical media, but I can't stand the same films getting re-release after release with no extra features. But wow, keep paying the extra $20 for films because that's like $100 for 5 films. Yeah, absolutely. And what gets me is you'll buy something like a boutique, for instance, will have a title that'll go out of print, and you'll buy it on the secondary market because you really want it,
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, some other boutique label will
pick it up,
put it out. Yep. I own one Vinegar Syndrome title, one, okay, and it's Fade to Black, which is a movie from 1980, and Scream Factory is releasing it next month.
Yeah.
It's like, really?
I thought you American guys had millions of these Vinegar Syndromes.
Not me.
Yeah.
Vinegar Syndrome, they release so many of these, like, I don't want to call them B movies, but yeah, I'll call them B movies. They release a lot of shit, okay? And there's a lot of people that are into that. They're like those asylum movies, I mean, I just can't get into them. I can't. I love bad movies as much as the next guy.
but
there's a limit, I mean, there's just a limit. Not to mention, I'm getting older, so I'm thinking, you know what? I don't have as much time on this earth
That's right,
as I used to have, so I'm going to watch something that's reasonably good.
Next film might be my last film.
You can't buy movies here in Sweden anymore. There's not a store anywhere that sells. That sucks.
That does suck.
That really sucks. Yam says, with physical media, my heart is Blockbuster, Woolworths, Markets, Car Boots, Summerfield, Safeway. That's my heart. That's sadly missed, but it's mostly about editions over films. Yeah.
Woolworths.
Yeah, once I get a movie, unless it's a bad transfer, okay, and they come out with a new transfer somewhere down the line that's markedly better, I don't double dip. I can't do it anymore.
Do you still have Woolworths over there?
Not really. No. They were around when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's still a couple around somewhere. I haven't seen one in years. We don't have Blockbusters anymore either. Okay, let's see here. We are getting a lot of re-releases, but now it's the edition over the film and release. Admittedly, we are getting films that had releases, which is Boston, but it's mostly editions. Yeah.
Do you know what Boston is?
No, but I see that comment a lot.
Bos. Yams from the Black Country, which is near Birmingham, and Boston round there means something's really good.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah. Gareth was doing a live watch party the other day. I forgot what the damn movie was, but it was something really bad. I typed in the comment, "This movie sucks the sweat off of a dead dog's balls." And he read the comment and he goes, "Well, Jim, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because over here, the dog's bollocks means something good." And I immediately typed in, "No, that's not a good thing."
For me.
Let's see here. Nathan Barrett is there. That must be your son. Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Katie. Nathan, I don't know whether you was listening earlier, but Jim was asking about the intro, and I was telling him all about you, the composer, and he's very impressed.
Absolutely. I was telling your dad, I love the music at the beginning of the video when he told me that you just picked up your guitar and just did it off the top of your head. Hats off to you, my friend. That is fantastic. And I told your dad, I love that music. So by all means, I hope you do more than just tinker around with the guitar, because you've got talent. So well done, sir. Well done. Okay, we got a movie face-off here. Let's see here. Barry says, A Bay of Blood or Friday the 13th?
I've only seen Friday the 13th, so I'll have to go with that.
I'll go with Friday the 13th as well. I have seen A Bay of Blood. I don't really recall it, though. I was probably in my teens when I saw that movie. Sean says, I can't find movies in any stores at all anymore. 100% online now, besides the flea market I go to. You know, speaking of flea markets, I've got a place 15 miles from here called 7 Mile Fair, and it is literally that. It is 7 miles of parking lot. It's like the Midwest's biggest flea market, okay? And I haven't gone there. I guarantee I can find movies there. I just...
You should go.
Yeah. Bring my camera and show.
And, of course, we have CEX, which I know Dan hates them. Dan hates them with a passion. But I get some good stuff from there, and I think a lot of us guys over here do. I think they're for me, they're quite good in the secondary market, but
yeah.
I know like they have the distractors like Dan's. You've got to be careful what you get. There's a lot of reprinted covers and stuff like that you've got to avoid, and you've got to keep a look at your discs when they serve you. And they're prone to a mistake. I went to Lancaster a couple of years ago, which is 180 miles, and I bought the Vincent Price Fly Blu-ray, and when I got it back home, they put the Cronenberg version in, so you got to watch, keep an eye on them. But I think they're good company. I know a lot of people don't, but I've got a lot of stuff from them.
Yeah, I know you like the Fly movies. You made the comment that you like that box set that I got from Scream. I love that box set.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Sean says, I'd recommend going region free because I found some region B titles for cheaper prices compared to the region A stuff. Yeah, I've thought about that as well, Sean. My problem is if I had a region-free Blu-ray player, I would buy everything. And I can't do that to my wife. I just can't.
Don't tell her.
Yam says, I only have one Vinegar Syndrome, and that is Resurrection, which is basically 7 on steroids. I picked up the DVD from the charity shop for 10 pence. Love it. So I upgraded to Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray. Awesome.
I need to make a note of that. Resurrection. That does sound. I've
heard of a name. I've heard of a movie called Resurrection, but that was from the early '80s. I don't think that's the same film.
I'm writing that down, Yam. So it better be Boston.
That's right. He'll track you down, yeah. Make you watch Grease.
Yeah. And Dirty Dancing.
Yeah. Dominoes. Okay. Mr. Dan says, I wish Dollar Tree still had movies. Found some good ones there. Yeah. Hi, Greg. Nathan says, I haven't played properly in years. Well, again, like I said, I absolutely love that little jingle. So you've got talent. I don't have talent. That's why I played drums for years.
That's what they call a guy who hangs around musicians, isn't it? The drummer.
Yeah. That's what people would say. Are you a musician? No, I'm a drummer. Oh, you're a drummer? No, I'm a percussionist.
A timpanist.
That's right.
Yeah.
Greg wants to know, what are you guys' thoughts on physical media being more defective these days, such as DVD, Blu-ray rot? Poorly printed discs seems to happen more often anymore. I haven't had that problem.
Me either.
I see videos all the time.
Yeah.
Of people having issues with it. But the only discs that I've ever had a problem with were like ones that I bought used that had scratches on them, but I've never had an issue with rot.
No, me either.
Let's see here. Daniel says, happy wife, happy life. Absolutely. I have not picked up a movie in about 3 months just to make my wife happy. I haven't picked anything up in months just because work has been so slow. And to be honest, there hasn't been that many titles that have come out recently that I've been itching to grab. I mean, again, I know Arrow just re-released the Dollars movies on 4K, which I see a lot of people getting those and this and that and the other. And it's like, I already own those movies. And I don't own 4K, so
I haven't picked any movies for a week.
For you, that's good. Pretty good.
I'm struggling for content this week, so anybody got any ideas, let me know.
Yam's great for the comments. I love this guy. I rewatched Black Panther recently from '77, based on the killer Donald Nelson.
Oh, what a film!
And most of it is filed on Black Country, a pretty Boston talkie. It's also accurate to what actually happened. I don't think I've seen that.
1 second. Is there somewhere? Such a great film.
No, I'm writing that one down. No, I'd never heard of that. When he said he saw Black Panther, I thought he was talking about the Marvel movie.
It's Terrence Stamp, I think.
Oh, I love Terrence Stamp.
I'm sure it's Terrence Stamp. It's a while since I've seen it now. Yeah, it's about this. It's a true story about this guy called Dennis Nielsen, which there was another guy called Dennis Nielsen who was a serial killer, but this is a totally different guy. And he'd go around armed robberies in post offices and inevitably end up shooting somebody, and quite a few murders, and it's all about the hunt for him. And really good film.
Yeah, I'll check into that. No, I never heard of that one. Thank you, Yam. That's from '77. Now that you put it away.
Sorry, do you want to get it back?
No, it's all good. Okay. Sean says, I still have yet to get a defective disc. I've gotten that stuff that wouldn't play properly, but there was nothing defective about that. Yeah. I think it's sad that Scream Factory doesn't do disc. They don't? Wow. Scream Factory used to have an issue where, especially with the box sets, where they would have like a bad disc that would have something missing from it or whatever. But they were always very good about that. You'd you send them the proof of purchase or whatever, they would immediately send you the replacement. But I know that they just got bought out by a different company, which is one of the reasons why, again, I know Shout Factory is not huge over in the UK. But the first 10 years that they were around, they were one of the best boutique labels there were if you were a horror fan. And now they're releasing shit like Bring It On. And they just announced what the hell was it? Something's coming out next week or next month or whatever. And it was like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like, Ted Part 2.
Oh,
it's like, really? It's ridiculous.
Is Scream Factory part of the same company?
Yeah, Shout Factory is the umbrella company that everything is under. So Shout Select and Scream Factory are under that. But again, all they've been doing recently is just re-releasing their old titles on 4K. That's all they've been doing. There are many more issues with 4K these days. Quite a lot of replacements. That's why I like the olden days, is everything worked correct. Any replacement discs back in the day. Yeah, see, I don't have 4K, and I'm not going to get 4K anytime soon. Because I know me. If I do, I'll start all over again.
Yeah, it is difficult.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I held off on getting Blu-ray for years because I had so many DVDs.
Yeah.
And then my wife bought me a PlayStation 3
Yeah.
way back when that played Blu-rays. And that's how that shit started, you know? And it's like, I don't want to go through it again. You know?
And plus the jump from DVD to Blu-ray is phenomenal, but
Yes. Just like the jump from VHS to DVD was phenomenal. You know?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yam says, also the film Clockwise with John
Clockwise.
John Cleese, the school they use in the West Midlands. Nice.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
You've seen that one?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh, you said that. That's
Yeah,
you surprised me there. I didn't know how well known that would be over there.
I was a huge Monty Python fan.
Yeah.
So basically, for a while there, anything that any of those guys were in or involved with, I would watch. And
Fish Called Wanda, Fierce Creatures.
I don't like Fierce Creatures, but I love Fish Called Wanda. That's one of my favorite comedies of the 80s. I absolutely love that film so much. Okay. You are stranded on a desert island that somehow has electricity. You are
convenient, isn't it?
Yeah. You don't need no Wilson here. Okay. So you have electricity. You also have a working TV and Blu-ray player. You have 3 movies, and only 3 movies to keep you occupied until the search party comes. What are those 3 movies?
Alien, The Deer Hunter,
Okay.
and Blade Runner.
Nice. Yeah, I know.
Did you ask me my favourite sci-fis earlier?
Yeah, and you didn't
Why
mention
didn't I say Blade Runner?
Yeah, because you mentioned Silent Running and Fantastic Planet, and you forgot your best one of all time.
My best one of all time.
Let me clip that and post that.
Let me show him up for the rest of his days with that one.
Now, as a mix-up here, you're still on that desert island, but now your Blu-ray player took a shit. Okay, but there is a working stereo system, so you are allowed 3 records or albums, CDs, whatever you want to call them, 3 LPs for us old geezers back in the day. What are your 3 desert albums, or desert island albums, I should say?
Jimmy, does it have to be a studio album, or could I have the?
It could be a live album. It could be a greatest hits album. It could be anything.
No, that's what I was getting at. I'd have to go with greatest hits LPs, and I'd have to go with the Beatles. I'd have to go with the Sex Pistols, and I'm going to go with a band you may not have heard of called Squeeze.
Oh yeah,
you know Squeeze.
Oh yeah, Tempted by the Fruit of Another.
That's it. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, Paul Carroll. Was that his name? The singer. Because he sang with Mike and the Mechanics as well.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I know Squeeze.
Yeah. You're a brother from another mother.
Hey. Go from the Beatles to the Sex Pistols, man, that's quite the jump.
Oh, I went to the Beatles comeback gig in 1996.
Oh yeah?
And, what an immense day out that was.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. I mean, they were supported by, it was like one big day, and they were supported by other punk bands, Stiff Little Fingers, the Buzzcocks, Iggy Pop.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a great day, and it was bouncing when they were playing, but then the Pistols come on stage, and the first bar that went down, I must have ended up about 50 feet from where I was in the first place. It was just incredible. The whole place went wham like that.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah, what a
Texas would have loved to have been at that show. He was a big punk guy. He loves punk. And yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I was born in '69, so at the height of it, like late '70s, I was a bit young. If I'd have been a bit older, I'd have had a staple in my nose and bacon and all sorts.
Green mohawk and shit.
My mum wouldn't let me.
I'm gonna get a hold of some AI stuff, and I'm gonna put, I'll take a picture of your face with the green mohawk and the studs. Yeah. That's awesome. Speaking of concerts, okay, you a big concert guy? Have you seen a lot of concerts in your life, or?
No, not really. Not really.
Is there any band that you wish you could have seen? I mean, I'm thinking you're going to say the Beatles because,
Oh, well, no, actually, I've heard that the Beatles were terrible to see live because you couldn't hear anything for girls screaming.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be the case.
Maybe the Clash.
Yeah. Yeah, my answer was always Zeppelin because Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. My very first concert was supposed to be Zeppelin. Yeah. My brother bought tickets because I was a drummer, and he was like, go see John Bonham, and Bonham died 6 months before the show, and the rest is history. So yeah, that one's always going to be the one that only. Yeah,
got away.
But okay, let's see here. Yam says, we also used to have That's Entertainment in England, which is a secondhand physical media shop, 2 for £5, 3 for $5 on DVDs, Blu-rays, and CDs. A Boston shop I went in often. Missed that.
Never had one of them.
Yeah, there used to be, here in the States, there was a company called FYE, For Your Entertainment, and they were similar to that sort of thing. They sold new and used physical media, and there might be some of those around, but they closed them all by me, unfortunately.
I remember one called Our Price we had.
Let's see here. Dan says, Shout is coming out with a 4K Jet Li box set. I really hope they do a good job with it. Yeah, they got a lot of those Golden Harvest titles coming out. I know they just announced that they were going to release a bunch of them on streaming, the John Woo films. And those are the ones I wish that they would put on Blue, because I would love to have Hard Boiled and The Killer.
Oh, yeah.
Better Luck Tomorrow. There's a lot of those movies I would love to have on Blu-ray.
My Hard Boiled DVD doesn't even have the original language. It's just dubbed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
That does suck, yeah. I think there is one.
The first time I saw Mad Max, the original Mad Max, back on cable, when it because it wasn't a big hit here in the States originally. It was a cult movie, but they dubbed it into American. So you got, I'm serious, even though the movie was in English, okay, they dubbed it into American. And the guy who dubbed Mel Gibson's voice was the worst. Oh my God, it was the worst thing I had ever heard in my life. I remember on cable even going, what the fuck is this? Because I mean, normally with dub movies, the mouth is going like this, like in the Japanese dubs, for instance, and you could tell it's a dub. In this movie, no. I mean, you could tell they were speaking English, but it was like, that is not, what is this? I mean, it was just so bad. It's like that's, oh, yeah, you've never seen it. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
No, I've not seen that.
There's one little scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure where he plays a character inside the movie that is based on him. Okay? It was like a meta thing. And you see Pee-wee Herman standing at this, he's playing like a desk clerk. And he picks up the phone and you hear this voice that is obviously not him. Paging Mr. Herman. Mr. Herman, come to the front desk. And it's one of the funniest damn things I've ever seen in my life. Okay, let's see here. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Fierce Creatures, but A Fish Called Wanda is Boston. A lot of fun. Kevin Kline gives me the right laugh. Very fun. Kevin Kline is friggin' gold in that movie. Is Otto. That's his name, Otto.
Otto, that's right.
Yeah, I love Fish Called Wanda. That movie is so goddamn funny. Oh, Larry's here. Larry, the Horcat dad, is here. Justice for All, Cold's first
Hello.
album. Probably Phil Collins' greatest hits, and maybe Typo Negative's World Coming Down. That would be his 3 albums on the desert island, I guess. Sean says, okay, I got to walk the dog before the storm comes, but I'll come back when I'm done if you guys are still going. Okay, Sean, take care of the dog, man.
Thank you, Sean.
Take care of yourself, my friend. Yeah, Sean's great. Yam says, if I can only have 3 talkies, I go with Grease.
They winding me up.
Savage Streets, and any Norman Wisdom film. Even though Scarface, Cape Fear, and Misery are my top 3 favorite films of all time.
Do you know Norman Wisdom?
No.
No, he was a comedian over here, I'd say, in the 1940s, 1950s.
Okay.
Very northern guy. And his catchphrase was, Mr. Grimsdale, it's me, Norman. Nope. Very big over here.
Nope. Was not familiar with him at all. Yam says, if I can only have 3 singer albums, I'll go with Marty Robbins, Slim Whitman, and Judith Durham solo. Marty Robbins to Slim Whitman. That's a jump, man.
I don't know Judith Durham.
I'm not familiar with Judith Durham.
I know the other 2.
Oh, Stacy's here. Hello, Stacy. How are you? Do you like Mona Lisa?
Mona Lisa.
The movie, I think she's talking about with Bob Hoskins.
I've seen it once years ago. People always compare it, don't they, with the Long Good Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I think Long Good Friday's a much better film, but I would need to watch it again, really, to have a proper opinion, I think.
Yeah, I think the only reason why people would compare the 2 is because of the Bob Hoskins connection.
Yeah.
Because Long Good Friday is definitely more of a mob movie, whereas Mona Lisa is more of a love story, I almost have to say, but both of them are very good. And
it's a
Bob
film
Hoskins,
I need to get a copy, actually, give it another watch.
Yeah, it is a very good movie if memory serves. I haven't seen it in years. But that's another one of those movies that Siskel and Ebert here in the States championed, and I checked out. Kiss of the Dragon or Unleashed? Which do you prefer?
I've not seen either. Sorry, Jan.
Both Jet Li movies. I'll go with Unleashed, also with Bob Hoskins. Also known as Danny the Dog. That movie's also known as Danny the Dog, if you might know it from that title. But P.S. I think Hard Boiled in the UK is cut all. We definitely need a Blu-ray release. I've got Hard Boiled and The Killer on a DVD set, but I don't know if it's cut or not because it's the only version I've ever seen.
I don't even know if I've seen a Jet Li film.
Lethal Weapon 4.
Oh, was he in them terrible G.I. Joe films?
Couldn't tell you. I've never seen the terrible G.I. Joe films.
There was 2, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I was talking about that on one of the other shows. As a matter of fact, it might have been the one with Daniel, where Masters of the Universe came up, the He-Man movie that's coming up. And he was like, yeah, I love the original one because he's in his 40s. So he was a kid when that movie came out. And I was like, I've never seen it. And he's like, you've never seen it? And I was like, dude, I was 20 years old when that movie came out. I had no desire to watch that shit.
It's like Thundercats, isn't it? I've not seen it. Thundercats.
Exactly. Let's see here. Barry says, Dennis Nielsen, the other serial killer, lived on the same road as my wife's aunt. He used to chop bodies. Oh, God.
Yeah, he did.
That's kind of freaky.
He was proper naughty, he was.
Well, I live in Wisconsin, which is, besides cheese, known for being the place from Ed Gein, who inspired not only Psycho, but the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. And more importantly, Jeffrey Dahmer, who might be the most notorious of them all, man, because he used to eat and make trophies out of his, Dahmer's, He's a different cat altogether.
Different cat. I like that one.
Normally I'm one of these live and let live guys. He's got a hobby, whatever. But I draw the line when it comes to shit
limits.
like that. I do. For somebody with no morals, I do have some morals.
One or two.
Mr. Dan, yeah, the Jet Li films will be both 4K and Blu-ray. So I hope they do the same with the John Woo films. Yeah, me too. Big time. Okay, here we go. I knew Stacy couldn't go on a show without coming up with one of these crazy scenarios for us. De Niro calls you for pizza. Pacino calls you for pasta. Whose offer do you accept first?
That's it. That's an obvious. That's a no-brainer. De Niro for pizza.
Yeah.
As long as you don't, as long as no pineapple on the pizza.
Yeah. I'll have to go with De Niro as well. Although I love both of them, but yeah, at the end of the day, I prefer pizza to pasta. So.
You don't go for pineapple though.
No.
That's girls' pizza, isn't it?
Yeah, I've tried it just because I wanted to see, what Hawaiian pizza was, and it was like, it wasn't disgusting, but at the same time, it's nothing that I would order again. I don't even like vegetables on my pizza. Give me some meat and cheese, and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Sausage, pepperoni, extra cheese, burn that shit. I'm good.
I don't mind the odd jalapeno.
Yeah. Jalapenos and me don't agree. We'll leave it at that. Judith Durham is the female singer from The Seekers. Oh, okay. Well, to really show my ignorance, I don't know who The Seekers are either. So
I've heard of The Seekers. I couldn't tell you what they sing off the top of my head.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm a rock and roll metal guy.
Yeah.
And more or less have been most of my life. There are artists from other genres that I like, but if somebody's saying, hey, you got one type of music to listen to for the rest of your life, what's it going to be? It's going to be rock and roll. I mean, that's who I am. Let's see here. Fun fact, Norman Wisdom actually slept in my house in the 50s because my house used to be a B&B as well as my neighbor's house on the left, and right owner by the original owner where Norman used to tour. Wow, man.
Sounds like Yam's had an interesting life.
Also, Norman Wisdom did drama in the West Midlands. I wouldn't be going to your aunt's house anytime soon, looking in the backyard for something. Daniel, Kissing the Dragon, the one, Romeo Must Die. Used to love Jet Li. Yeah, Lethal Weapon 4 is a piece of shit. Okay, I don't like that movie at all. Jet Li's the best thing about it, and he's barely in it. But let's see here. Yeah, I think Dan from Dan's Movie Cave has Hard Boiled on Blu-ray, but it does have English audio. Not sure if he kept it or sent it back though a year ago. Yeah, I know they had an old Blu-ray here in the States, Golden Harvest, but it wasn't like, I think it was almost like a bootleg or something. I haven't seen it, but I heard the quality on it was horrible. Barry says, I think Roy looks like a S Club 7 fan.
S Club. No, I'm not, no.
That's funny. Okay, let's see here. Come on, people, give us some good questions here. Yam says, I love music. I'm born in 95, but I'm an old-fashioned when it comes to music. Good taste, I like to call it. My music, I mostly like classical, country, folk, opera, 40s, 50s. Again, I like all types of music, but rock is my favorite. You know,
I love a bit of Glenn Miller.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and as far as I've said, we were talking about Amadeus on my channel a while back.
Amadeus is great.
Absolutely, I fucking love that movie. But at the time when it came out, I was in high school and I was in band. I was a drummer. So as a field trip, the day before the movie came out, they had a special screening for all the music students from different schools. And they sent us over there to watch that movie. And I was like kicking and screaming. I didn't want to go. Because at that point, I was a metalhead. And I was like, I don't want to go see no damn, Mozart movie, and sat down. And within 10 minutes of that movie, man, I was in love. And I love the music in that movie. It's just phenomenal, you know. I mean, but yeah, Stuart finally watched it recently.
Yeah, did.
And you know, because he actually sent me a little note once and was like, you know, everybody's talking about Amadeus, 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 you know, and I know you like it. Which version should I get? And because I guess apparently on 4K they only have the theatrical version. And I told him, I was like, hey, get the 4K, and if you like it, then go out and get the extended version, you know, but don't get the extended version, because then if you don't like it, you might have liked the theatrical, you know. So, but yeah, I love that movie. And again, I love the music in that movie. So I'm not just a metalhead. I don't just bite chickens' heads off and shit.
Yam's going to tell us how we live next door to Ozzy Osbourne next.
Let's see here. Daniel says, I have become really nerdy of late, so I listen to audio commentaries on my 3 MO3 players all the time. I love commentaries. I listen to commentary tracks all the time.
I've never listened to a commentary track in my life, to be honest.
The Thing. Okay, there's a great commentary track on there with Kurt Russell and Carpenter. It is one of the most entertaining things you'll ever hear, because they're more or less just telling stories the whole time about how the interiors, you know, were done on a stage, but they're wearing all this winter gear, you know, because they were refrigerated stages and shit. But then they'd go outside and it was in the middle of a heat wave. He's like, yeah, everybody got fucking sick. Everybody got sick. You know, this, that, and the other. I mean, anytime you get a commentary with Carpenter and Kurt Russell together, it's worth the price of admission. They are the one for Big Trouble in Little China is really funny too.
Maybe it's something I should try.
The version of Roadhouse that I have, Kevin Smith does a commentary for it. Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier, who's the producer of those earlier movies, and all they do is crack jokes the entire time. You know, the Chuck Norris jokes. You know, like Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups; he pushes the earth down. That's what they do for an hour and a half. But instead of Chuck Norris, it's Dalton. So you know, Dalton doesn't bleed. Dalton oozes coolness. You know, Dalton does this. Dalton does that. You know. And I mean, it's one of the funniest commentaries I've ever heard in my life. Let's see here. Yam says, I'm just a normal working class English guy. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. There's not many of us left.
Yeah. I do like a bit of rock with Susie Quattro and Guns N' Roses. Susie Quattro, Leather Tuscadero. That's how I know her from Happy Days.
Oh, she was in a episode of Minder as well once, I think.
Minder?
Minder was a British TV show in the 1980s, 1990s. Possibly my favourite television programme. Yeah, I'm sure Susie Quattro cropped up in an episode.
Speaking of TV, do you have any TV shows on media?
No.
On physical media?
I've got a few in my collection, but I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't have time for it.
Yeah. Yeah, for a while there, I was like, I mean, we're talking 15 years ago. I was obsessed with HBO shows. So I started buying, I got every season of True Blood. I've got every season of, I don't have The Sopranos, the one that I should have.
Never seen it.
Oh, The Sopranos is great. I've got all the seasons of Breaking Bad. I've got all the seasons of I've got all the seasons of Dexter. I got some animated shit. I got Tales from the Crypt box set with like all 7 seasons of Tales from the Crypt, you know, but it's just sitting in boxes. I don't watch any of them. You know,
I like Better Call Saul better than Breaking Bad. Is that weird?
I've never seen I've never seen Better Call Saul, but I've heard a lot of people actually say that. And the only reason why I've seen Breaking Bad, I didn't watch it when it was on TV. I found that box set like for $20, and it's the full series. And I just kind of binge watched it over like 3 weeks' time, and that show was great. It's great, you know. Dan says the Sweet Alice commentary with William Lustig is really good. I I've seen Alice, Sweet Alice, but I do not own it. Okay, here we go. Stacy wants to know: would you rather live in The Fifth Element or The Last Starfighter?
The Fifth Element. Better eye candy.
I would say The Fifth Element as long as Chris Tucker wasn't there, because he irritates the piss out of me. And I love the guy from The Last Starfighter, Robert Preston, of course, but the guy who played the alien, Daniel Hurley, he was in RoboCop. He played the old man in RoboCop. I love that guy. And Halloween 3, he was the crazy druid, whatever the hell. You know, I've seen Halloween 3 100 times. I still don't know what the hell that movie's about.
I've only seen it once, to be honest.
It's just so batshit crazy, you know. Thank you, Stacy. Daniel says, I'm just a metal guy, so 3 albums: Damage Done by Dark Tranquillity, Clayman by In Flames, and The Best of Zeppelin. Best of Zeppelin, absolutely. Although I would go with Physical Graffiti from Zeppelin, because I love that album so much. It's a double album. So, okay, Yam's got some more Norman Wisdom trivia for you. Norman Wisdom's, who spent 2 days here, is long before my time, 1960s. But the owner who owned the house had the books where those who would stay would sign, and Norman's signature is signed in it. Man,
it's very iconic in this country, Norman Wisdom.
Yeah. Favorite scene in Amadeus? My favorite scene is probably where Salieri is talking about his father not wanting him to be a musician, to be serious. And then he goes, and then a miracle. And you just see his old man drop dead. And that always made me laugh. So that's probably my favorite moment.
It's a hell of a long time since I've seen it. I'd need to rewatch it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's such a good movie.
Yeah. I should get that 4K, I think, and give it another watch.
Yam says, is it just me, or does Linda Hamilton in The Terminator look very similar to a prime Susie Quattro? I think they look similar at that time, so similar hair and gorgeous. Actually, yeah, I didn't actually think about that until you just said that, Yam. And now I can't unsee it.
Yeah, you could be right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Okay. And Yam also says, I like Minder, but only when Terry McCann is in it. I know, watch the episode. I won't watch episodes.
Yeah, he's right there.
Yeah, again.
He was in the bulk of it, and he left, and he was replaced by a guy called Ray, the character was, and it just wasn't the same after Terry McCann left.
Yeah, I'm, again, not familiar with that series or that actor, to be honest. Although if I saw him, I'd probably go, oh, that guy.
You know Dennis Waterman?
I'm sorry?
You know Dennis Waterman?
The name's not ringing any bells. But again, if I saw a picture of him, I'd probably know.
Yeah, he was in a few of the Hammer films.
Yeah.
Dracula AD 1972, stuff like that he was in.
Dan would probably know.
Fright.
Or Mr. Dan, rather.
Yeah, the horror film Fright that I watched recently, he was in that.
Yeah, like I said, it's not ringing any bells. I'm sure I would probably recognize him, though. I mean, I could cheat and go on my phone, but I don't want to do that.
He died not too long ago, a couple of years ago.
Stacy, favorite, blah, 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 if I could speak. Favorite 90s thrillers.
Favorite 90s thrillers. Hang on, I'm going to cheat here and have a quick look on the. These questions are hard when they come at you like that.
Yeah, because I'm actually thinking a thriller could be a lot of things.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm a little stumped here.
Misery.
Yeah, That's a good answer. Yeah, if we're gonna go that route, I'll go with 7. Yeah, I'll go with that. But I love them both. Thank you, Stacy. And if you have any other questions, everybody, please do so quickly because we are coming up on an hour 45. We only have 15 more minutes to go before I cut Roy loose here. And I know you've got a lot of questions about his deep feelings about Greece. So, have you seen Fright with Susan George? That's the one you were just talking about,
That's
isn't it?
what I just said. Yeah.
Yeah. If you like Straw Dogs, I think you'll like it. Or you'll love it. Also, Dennis Letterman and George Cole in it, which is strange because I'm so used to Terry McCann and Arthur Daly. Now, I have seen Straw Dogs. I own Straw Dogs. I don't know if I've ever seen Fright.
It's a good one. Yeah, it's very similar vibes.
Straw Dogs is a rough movie, man.
Huh.
I've got the unrated director's cut, and they made a rough movie even rougher, man. it's not easy.
Never seen the remake.
I saw the remake once, but honestly, I don't remember if I liked it or not.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that just kind of right out the head, you know. I just did that one. Sorry, these new friggin' StreamYard changed the way that you do comments now, and it's just a pain in the ass. Daniel says the Terrifier movies, overrated or underrated? I think they are really overrated. I will leave you to answer that because, to be honest, I've never watched any of them. I haven't seen any of them.
I think the first one was very good because it was something a bit different, and like John Wick now, it's getting a bit spread too thin over too many films. And I think they're doing another one. I'm sure there's 4 in production. So, yeah, I think the idea is run its course myself, but people keep watching them, so they'll keep making them.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of the movies, you know, a scene here and a scene there. And I'm a gore hound. So that's not the reason why I haven't gotten around to them. It's just if that's all they are, and that's kind of what I've been led to believe, then it's like, you know, again, I'd rather watch something that I think I would enjoy more than just the shock factor, you know. But
what are your thoughts on John Wick?
John Wick? I like the John Wick movies. I own all 4 of them, but like you, there's the spinoff coming this summer, Ballerina, which, whatever. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, they just announced that they're making a 5th one. And they're doing another spinoff with the Donnie Yen character from the last one, the blind guy, Kane. And I said when I walked out of John Wick 4 that they could have made the damn movie about Kane.
Yeah.
And I would be down because to me, he was the best character in the whole damn series, you know? But yeah, I mean, when they come out, I'll probably go see them. You know, I'm a sheep like everybody else, you know, but they could stop them right now and I'd be fine with that. You know?
It's like 3 hours long, the last one, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was an endurance test at the theater.
Yeah. That's a long runtime for a film like that.
Yeah, I prefer that one at home, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Because it got to the point theatrically, at least when I saw it, it felt like an endurance test. You know, like you're running a marathon after a while, you know, and it was like, okay, enough. You know, how many times can I watch this asshole fall down these stairs? You know, who knew that the kryptonite to John Wick was stairs? You know?
And it's going to be a loud film, and 3 hours is a lot of pounding in your ears.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even my sister, you know, because she took me to see that, you know, because that was like my birthday movie that year. And she loves those movies. And even she was like, Jesus Christ, man, when is this movie going to be over? Because it was just continuous. And it was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, we walked out of that movie and I was like, you know, I liked it, but I preferred the earlier movies because they were in and out, you know, and this one, it was like they tried to shove 20 pounds of shit into a 10-pound bag. You know what I mean? You know, so that's my eloquent review of John Wick 4.
20 pounds of shit in a 10-pound bag.
You know, people are going to think I didn't like it. And no, that's not the case. I do like that movie. Okay. But I love the 2 movies that came out before it. Let's put it that way. You know, let's see here. How about you? I mean, I know you were a big fan of a couple of those movies, at least.
Well, I thought the first one was a seminal action film when it come out, and then the second one, my interest waned a little bit, and now like just too much now. I'm
See,
not
I think
really.
the third one's the best out of all of them.
Yeah,
Mainly because of it's got some of the coolest sequences, but they got
yeah,
that whole sequence with Halle Berry and those dogs,
yeah.
and it's just so friggin' cool. I mean, I get a kick out of that every time I watch it. So
I've still not seen the fourth one yet.
yeah, like I said, I don't want to make it sound like I'm shitting on it, but it's
Yeah,
like on video, at home, it's a very enjoyable film. Okay, long but enjoyable. But like I said, theatrically, it was, man. I was just like, please God, let this movie be over soon, And I very rarely am like that.
yeah.
Stacy says, thanks for fun answers. No, thank you, Stacy, for your questions. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Dan says, Fright sounds right up my alley. Need to check it out.
Yeah, it's very good, Dad.
Oh, here we go. Barry's got one for you here. Terminator or Alien franchise?
Oh,
So you got to go for the whole franchise against each other.
Alien.
I will go with Alien.
I love it.
Because,
Even
go
the
ahead.
Prometheus and that. I love Prometheus, and I think it's got less misfires than the Terminator franchise.
I enjoy every Alien movie. Okay, everyone to a certain degree. The Terminator movies, I absolutely adore the first two movies. I could take or leave the third movie, and everything afterwards,
Yeah.
I just don't like. So I would go with Alien as well. This one, though, Rocky or Rambo?
That's tough. It's tough.
I'm going with Rambo for the same reason.
I've got to go Rocky.
Yeah, I love the first two Rocky movies. I don't really care for. I mean, I loved all the Rocky movies when I first saw them. I saw half of them theatrically and walked out going, yeah, I mean, but people love Rocky 4. Okay. People go on and on about Rocky 4. I saw Rocky 4 3 times theatrically. Okay. So I loved Rocky 4 as well. I fucking hate that movie now, man. It is just montage the movie. That's what that movie should be called. Montage the movie.
Yeah, no, I've got to go. I couldn't live without Rocky, I don't think.
Yeah. I own the Rambo movies. I do not own the Rocky movies. So that would be my answer. But I certainly don't disparage people that would go with the Rocky movies. Those things are iconic. I've never seen them. I've never seen the Creed movies.
I've only seen the first Creed film.
I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah.
And I heard that they're very good. I kind of got burned out on Rocky 5 kind of killed it for me. Because I'm sorry, Rocky 5 is rough, man. I mean, that movie's rough.
I could take things out of it. I don't think it's as terrible as people say.
Tommy Gunn.
Tommy Gunn.
Let's see here. Yam says, love the Terrifier films. I'm scared stiff of traditional clowns due to trauma as a kid watching it as a kid. And the bit down the drain, but in fine with Terrifier. But he does look
I thought he was going to say he had a clown live in his house.
Yeah, I don't like clowns either. I do not like clowns, and it has nothing to do with it. Okay, I didn't like clowns from the time I was tiny, but I'm not afraid to watch movies with a clown in it. I mean, the Terrifier thing, like I said, that's got nothing to do with the fact that he's a clown.
Even cannibals dislike clowns, don't they? Yeah. They taste funny.
Yep, I knew where you were going with that. It's like, hey, did you hear about the scientists discovered a new species of gay dinosaur? It's called the Megasaurus. Okay.
Hey, boom.
They found the lesbian version as well, the Lickalotopus. Okay, so
on with the show.
As I get canceled in week number 9. Okay, so Daniel says, love gore and violent movies, but Terrifiers do not have any story. That's kind of what I was thinking, that it would just be, the shock value for
exactly what I was going to say. That they're just relying on the shock.
Yeah. Not every movie needs to become a franchise. Absolutely.
No.
Yam says, Boston Live guys, just going to make something to eat. Hope Yam enjoy the rest of your chat. It's been, Yam, thank you so much for everything. Because actually, we are getting ready to wrap it up here soon. But thank you so much for all your contributions to the chat today, my friend. Stacy says, favorite comedy scene where the person gets a job where they feel unqualified or they pull the ruse to get it. Huh?
That's a very niche question.
Yeah.
So a person gets a job where they feel unqualified.
I'll go with Ted. The original Ted, where he's doing the interview with the grocery manager. And he points at the picture and he's like, yeah, I'll fuck your wife and then I'll fuck your kid or whatever. And he's like, wow, nobody's ever talked to me that way. You're fired.
Yeah.
Other than that, I can't think of anything.
Okay, I can only think of like Trading Places or something like that.
Yeah, there you go. And then we've got Barry says, with you on Tucker Jim, so annoying. All he does is Jim. Oh, yeah, Chris Tucker. Especially in The Fifth Element. I love Chris Tucker in Friday. And I thought he was okay in Rush Hour. I didn't really like all the Rush Hour movies, but the first one was okay. But Chris Tucker is one of those guys that I could just... I'm sure he's a wonderful...
It's a high-pitched shout as well, isn't it?
Yes, and it makes my ears bleed, you know. And this is the guy who played drums for years. Nothing makes my ears bleed. That does. But anyways, guys, we are going to be calling it pretty soon. We're coming up on 2 hours. But before we do wrap it up, I want to give Roy a chance here to not only plug his channel, but also to go ahead and mention any other kind of exploits he might have coming down the pike. Sir, the floor is yours. So by all means.
First of all, thanks, Jim, for having me on. As you guys say, I've had an absolute blast. And yeah, if anybody's enjoyed my nonsense I've been spouting tonight, yeah, please feel free, click on the channel. It's like I've been here tonight, it's nothing serious, just try and have a laugh. I usually do a weekly roundup, what I've been watching, pickups, stuff like that, top tens now and again. Like Jim said earlier, I did my favourite film from each genre. I'm thinking about soon I'm going to work on my underrated film from each genre.
Nice.
So you might see The Incident again.
Nice.
So yeah, come on aboard. Just say hi if you've clicked on me today, and not just tell me you got a channel, and I'll click you back, and we'll get some love going in the room.
And what about your live show that you do with the other boys?
Yeah, Mondays. I don't go on every week, but Ollie's channel, Ollie Loves Film. If you look him up, he does a very good live stream every Monday where we just have a chat. We might do a quiz, and I know Ollie wants to get Jim on. And Jim, you'd be brilliant at the quiz because you were good at it in the comments. I'm bloody hopeless. I can't remember anything on the spotlight. I just had to Google 90 thrillers to see which one.
That's all right.
Yeah, so please hop on aboard and say hi, and we'll have some fun.
Awesome. So everybody, like I said at the top of the show, you can get a hold of Roy. The name of his channel is BluRoy Movies, and the actual handle is Roy at Roy Barrett 5609. That's RoyBarratt 5609. You can also reach him on Instagram at Footy and Flicks. That's all one word. OOTYANDFLICKS. You can reach him on Instagram there as well. And I want to take this opportunity to, number one, thank you so much, Roy, for being here.
Thank you, Jim. It's been brilliant.
It was a blast. I knew it would be. I knew we'd get along just fine just from our comments and our mutual love for Crazy Gary Busey.
Gary Busey.
But it's been an absolute pleasure having you here. And again, I want to have you. I'm extending the invitation right now for further down the line if you'd like to come back.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. Love to have you again. A couple other things I want to mention before we wrap things up, because I am a whore. I need to sell my stuff here. The very next episode of Shooting the Shit with Jim will be 2 weeks from today, the 17th. Same bat time, same bat channel, 1 p.m. Central Time. My very special guest on that show will be Sean at Movie Assault, who is one of my partners in crime on my live show, Talking Movies with Sean, Kenny, and Jim. Again, that show will be on the 17th, 2 weeks from today at 1 p.m. And you can reach Sean at Movie Assault. That is the name of his channel. This coming Tuesday on the 6th of May at 7 p.m. Eastern Time will be the aforementioned show, Talking Movies with Sean, Kenny, and Jim. You can watch that live either on Sean's channel at Movie Assault or at the Talking Movies 2024 channel. In our topic this week, we're going to do something a little bit different. We decided to do a deep dive movie review on a couple of movies that we hadn't seen first. And they are Godzilla -1.
Oh, it's brilliant.
And Peninsula, which is the sequel to Train to Busan, which is one of my favorite films of all time. I did watch Godzilla -1 the other night. I will give everybody my opinions and what I feel about. No, screw it. I'll say it now. That movie fucking rocks. Okay, so yeah, brilliant. Great movie. Spoiler alert. But yeah, we're going to be talking about both of those movies on Tuesday night. Both of those films are available on physical media, and they are also both available on Netflix. So if you want to watch those movies and join us on Tuesday night, please do so. And again, that show will be on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, either on Sean's channel at Movie Assault or at the Talking Movies 2024 channel, which is the Talking Movies with Sean, Kenny, and Jim channel. I also want to mention that everybody who is here in the comments, I really appreciate everything and all the comments and questions. We'll get to a couple of those real quickly before we head off for the day. Daniel says, favorite bad movie? I know my answer. Captain Jason Takes Manhattan. I knew you'd say that, Daniel, because he knows how much I hate that fucking movie. So, yeah, what's a movie that, we already did the overrated thing, but what's a bad movie that you love?
I think Orca's now my favorite bad movie.
Orca's pretty great. Yeah, Jason X is probably mine, but yeah. But thank you so much, Daniel. Sarah, thank you so much for being here. Mr. Dan and Hor, thank you so much for being here as usual, my friend. Texas, as always, cannot thank you enough for your support and friendship. Barry, also from the UK, thank you so much for spending some time with us, Barry.
Say something?
Yes.
Barry's an Arsenal fan, isn't it? I can tell, boy.
Yep.
And I'm a Spurs fan, so that's bitter rivals.
Oh, okay.
No, I can't say a lot because Barry's team's doing a bit better than mine in the last few years.
Well, I'll let you two settle out when I stay out of these things. It's like living in the outskirts of Chicago. All my friends were Cub fans, and I'm a White Sox fan. And let's just make it was really interesting growing up, and Daniel, thank you, Daniel.
Frank.
So one last time, in addition to thanking all of you in the chat, I really want to give a special thanks again to Roy. Mate, this was awesome. I really appreciate you being here. I cannot thank you enough for being here. So
it's been
on that,
brilliant.
everybody, we are going to call it a show. We are over the 2-hour mark. So we'll see everybody in 2 weeks, hopefully. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll catch you all on the next one. Take care, everybody.
Good night, everybody.